Welcome to episode 9 of the No Scrubs podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, and joined with me today, the man who's come back from his own expedition from the gym. Stephen, how you going?
Sore.
Ah, great. Great. You know, you wouldn't have survived the Gush. I just want you to know that.
No.
Look, me though, I'll be fine. I'll be sweet.
It's a cool concept. It's friggin' cool.
And we'll be talking more about that soon anyway. Very soon, don't you worry. But I got a couple of things to talk to you about today, mate. Yep. Totally organic. I don't have a document in front of me. Don't worry about it.
Neither.
But it is all just off the cuff, really. It just needs some guidelines. So there's been a lot of controversy recently about you and your actions, and this is actually an intervention.
To the internet.
But it's a conversation that I think is pretty fucking dumb. But there's the body type, versus sex. So you create a character, instead of male or female, it's like body type A or body type B or 1 or 2. And I think the whole thing's stupid because I don't really care either way. So people are uploading Nexus mods to be like, look, here's one that adds male and female back, because you literally only see it at the start of the game when you create your character, right? And then people are like, look, it doesn't matter. And then it's like, if it doesn't matter, why remove it? And then the mods start getting banned. And you're like, well, that's kind of... I think it's ridiculous to also ban the mod. Because I think if you're soft if you're upset about it either way. I don't give a fuck what it says. I want to be done with my creator character as fast as possible. I want to spend 3 minutes in there, get my character made so I can play the damn game. Some people want to spend hours, and it matters to some people. But, like I say, I think you are very soft if you are upset. Oh, I have to pick body type 1. Oh, I have to pick body type A. Or I have to pick male or female. All of you just need to grow the fuck up, alright?
It's all boring!
It's fucking boring. It's so stupid. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty soft getting upset about it. It does seem like the way that it's going, it's going to be the norm in most games. I feel with the body type A, body type B, it is a good way to cover all bases, and I don't really care, but you're not going to have any offended, marginalized people doing it. But yeah, I also think it, again, just want to get my character done and dusted. But it's also pretty soy when a game does have male, female, and everyone's just like, yeah, a return to form. I was like, unless you like to create your favorite celebrity, your friend, or you like to do a 1-to-1 replica of what you look like, it's just like, it's, okay.
I don't think it's particularly important either. Like I say, either way, if the developers want to do it one way or the other, I'm not going to be upset by the inclusion of either. I'm really not worried at all. And I'm not going to install a mod to change it because, like I say, you see that for when you create your character and that's it. Oblivion's an interesting example because once you're actually in the game, it's like people will treat you as male or female. So they change it on the front screen, but nothing changes in the rest of the game anyway. So for them, I'm kind of like, why bother changing it? Because people, it's bizarre to me to even bother changing that for that game where it's already kind of programmed into it. It's probably different now if you make a game. Imagine that though, you're walking around and they just oh, you're a fine looking body type A. What the fuck is this? Oh, you're a handsome young, you're an attractive young body type B. It'd be like, what the fuck is this?
It'd be different if the preset body types were I could understand people going a little bit, if body type A and body type B is the exact same, they're both jacked. It's just one's got a fat fucking hog on them, and the other one's just got like a neat little clam on them. And it's just like, but
And it's like
also people
Elden Ring's
feel,
a very progressive game because look, you've armor sets don't matter, mate. If you're male or female, the armor's the same.
that's cool. No, that's cool because I, especially back in the day of like playing like Korean MMOs, the shittiest thing would be like, oh, this armor set looks pretty neat, and it's not like overly effeminate or anything, but it's just like, oh, gender locked. And it's just like, I can understand class locked, but, or like certain, I couldn't name you any, but there would be the odd Korean MMO where the character, like the class, is a character, like a set character that's a set gender, and you can't change that. But I think it's cool being able to wear all sets of armor because sometimes you want to wear them pants baggy, sometimes you want to wear leggings.
Do you?
I do.
I don't. Look, fair enough. I respect it. Oh, I don't, but I'll say that I do. But to save face.
What I think the only thing about it is like we're talking about the mods and stuff. And there was a little bit of a kick-off about, they were removing the male-female body type into it. I think it's odd. It's real odd because it's like let modders do what they want as long as they're not doing anything like malicious, like changing like modding in like KKK hoods for armor. They have like the best stats in the game. That'd be so dumb. But it's funny that you would have things like, I remember with Spider-Man, they had the mod that removed the pride flag, and I was just like, why do you care? But then that mod got removed, but then there'd be like not current Oblivion, but the old Oblivion, there'd be mods. It's like, oh, you can kill kids and stuff, and it's just like, I don't get it.
The kids are pretty fucking annoying, to be honest. Yeah, I think for the pride flag thing too, I also don't have a problem if someone wants to remove them, but also, I think you're pretty soft if you do. It's like, who cares? Who cares, bro? It's a little flag. Who gives a fuck? Like, why being such a fucking little bitch about it? It's just culture war bullshit, eh? It's just, that's all it is. Like, oh man, people get so caught up in this culture war stuff, and I just don't fucking care. I just want to play games, man. I just want to enjoy video games. There's so much good shit out there, and you just, would you rather spend your time playing and enjoying games, or would you rather spend your time whinging about it on Twitter?
Or on Reddit.
Yeah.
But then there's also
the other side of it. Yeah.
There's also the thing of like, do not give a fuck about culture wars. Especially when you're kicking up a stink about like body types and shit like that. But I think what a bit like sort of justifiable backlash is the whole thing of you play video games to be immersed and escapism. I think not most people, but a fair bit of people that are like about the culture wars is they just don't want to feel like they're being lectured while they're enjoying their hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where a lot of it started. I think it's become a bigger thing than that, but I think that's where it started. Yeah, for sure.
It's almost like with because of that, like the whole being lectured and stuff. If things like body types or even pronouns, people just start like sniffing and be like, "Oh, it smells woke. It's probably going to be a shit game."
Yeah. There's that Steam curation list that's like the DEI detected or whatever, and like, nah, you've used DEI, and half the time they're fucking wrong. Like, in general, there was that game. Oh, why could I not remember it? But it was that 2D platformer. Um, if it comes back to me, Tales of Kinzera Zhao, that game, and it was just like about a black family, and people are like, "It's woke." It's like, how? How is this fucking woke? It's like, black people exist. What are you talking about? Like,
I haven't dabbled. I've been meaning to, and I'm trying not to let the reviews form my judgment on it. But with South of Midnight, from what I was watching, it's just like strong female characters can absolutely be done, and they do not need to be obnoxious or insufferable. And is it Hazel, the main character?
Hazel, yeah.
It's just like this is a well written character. Like,
yeah, I like Hazel as a character a lot. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, I must say, Expedition 33 is so exceptional that it's overshadowed every other game I've played this year. So I really, like, the other week I was being like, hey, man, South of Midnight. I'm like, it was fun. I'm like, it wasn't like exceptional, but I'm like, it was a very good game. I really enjoyed it, right? Everything about it was good. I didn't actually get sick of the gameplay loop as a lot of people did, because I think it was the length of the game. But the characters were all great as well, like the talking fish and everything. I enjoyed spending a bit of time with him when he was around. Great character. Hazel was great. Yeah, all the other characters really, really good. Yeah, I think it's people just it's as well when you get these games where people are just hating on them online as well. Like, so Last of Us 2, there was a lot of that stuff that leaked from that. I didn't play the game until a few years after it launched, and it's like enough time's passed, it's out of the conversation, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad though I gave it that distance, because I didn't let anything, and you know, it's not a perfect game, but I didn't let any of the online discourse like cloud my judgment of the game. I just had to give it enough time. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So maybe for South of Midnight, it might be best for you to just give it a little bit of a gap before you jump on it. But I think there's a lot there that you'll enjoy it. It's, like I say, Expedition 33 is so exceptional that even though they're completely different games, I'm like, everything else I played this year is like, fucking, who cares? I was gushing about First Berserker Kazan. Who fucking cares about that game anymore? Who fucking cares, bro? You know, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, which I found out the translation is essentially fine art, which that will make sense the more you play the game.
Also, there are there's two enemies you fight. One is called Clair, and one's called Obscur.
And then there's a third enemy that has the name Clair Obscur, which is like a combination of the two enemies.
Clair Obscur, Expedition 33.
Imagine that. That's the next enemy. You have to fight Expedition 33. That would be more ridiculous. But yeah, I didn't realize it translates to like fine art, which is quite cool.
That's really good. I think that's cool. Because my simian brain was just like, oh, it's probably going to be like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, and I looked up Clair Obscur, and everything it came up with the game. So I was like, okay,
yeah, I looked up Clair Obscur meaning, and I was like, oh,
not an author, not a person.
I'm glad though that name translates to something like that, and that name sounds real pretentious. And then you play the game, and go, oh, I actually see what they're saying.
It's fitting. Like, it's fitting.
It actually fits really well once you know more about the game and so on. And we're going to talk more about that
yes.
soon. But I feel like every subject's got to be like, we'll be like, oh yeah, so Xbox has done this, and then you'll be like, yeah, but you know, Clair Obscur. We'll just like everything will come back to it, because man, when my friend, shout out to my homegirl Rio, she was a bit ahead of me in the game because I was finishing South of Midnight before I got to this, and she was like, oh my god, where are you up to in the game? And I was like, I'm up to here. She's like, oh my god, when you get to this point, tell me, and we'll talk about it. She just wanted to just talk about the game all the time. It was great. Like over like the space of the 2 weeks, we were just talking every day about it, which was so cool. So it's nice to have that type of game. But yes, in this game you don't choose your body type. The characters are preset, so you know Maybe we'll install a mod to do that. Who knows? Before Nexus mods bans it. But yeah, I think it was just that whole thing it's just silly.
It's because like woke and DEI wasn't in like the forefront of people's minds. I think when this game was released, because it's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb when people see like black lead or like female lead and they're like woke.
Yeah.
Even though it's not your cup of tea, but the Telltale's first Walking Dead game,
Yeah.
main character Lee, he's just like he's the main protagonist.
You're not my cup of Lee, mate.
Not cup of black, and no one kicked up a stink. No one was just well. It is a bit of an older game.
Imagine if Tomb Raider came out now, people would be, playing as a woman. Oh, and I know as well, Sony's got a lot of female leads these days. Like, so there is that. But
well, the original,
I just care that the characters are good.
The difference is like when Tomb Raider first came out, like the OG, is that hate to use that soy and cringe terminology, but Lara Croft was made through the male gaze.
Oh yeah,
polygon titties.
There was that thing about that, and they were supposed to increase them by like 50%, and the slider went to 150, and they said, "Oh, neat, let's keep it."
Dude, imagine if they did that with like with Uncharted, but for some reason they had Nathan Drake have a dong slider, and they're like, 200%, and it's just dragging behind him like a kangaroo tail.
I was seeing a thing. It was like, here's a cheat to play as naked Lara Croft, and you'd like punch in the cheat, but it would just make her explode or something.
That's awesome. And it's also like
I'm gonna have to see if that's real or someone just made a YouTube video like taking the piss or something, but it was pretty funny. Also, I never really played Tomb Raider. I did
Neither.
that. I got to muck around a little bit in like in her, like, is at her house with her like butler, because I had a friend that had it, and I played it really briefly, and the whole thing was like you go into the freezer or whatever, and then you like run really fast out, or you backflip out or something, and you can close the door and shut the butler in the freezer or something like that. That's all I really remember about it. And like, there wasn't, because the PS1 you were still limited on space. Apparently there's like very little soundtrack to the first Tomb Raider. There's like a lot of eeriness to it because there's not a heap of music.
I remember, because I too had a friend who had Tomb Raider.
The way you said that makes it like nobody's going to believe you. I too had a friend.
Yeah, I too had a friend. But I remember back in the day getting the PlayStation magazines that came with demo discs, and they had Lara Croft. Can't remember which game it was, but the one level you did was in the snow, and I was just like, I already know I'm not going to like this, because as soon as we got into the snow, I was just like, damn, I sure am getting flashbacks to that demo of Metal Gear Solid 1 and Shadow Moses, where I didn't know that I had to lie on my belly and crawl because I kept on leaving fucking footprints and being found.
Wouldn't you still leave a mark when you're crawling around on the ground?
Not
You're
footprints.
going to leave this like, has there been a giant snail round here? What the fuck is this? Ridiculous.
Or like the world's tiniest plow.
Yeah, push plow, mate. He's just doing it by hand.
He's just mowing the snow.
You never used a snow mower before, mate? Come on.
A snower?
Yeah, that's what they call them down in these cold parts.
Cold parts.
Yeah, in this weather, absolutely. All my parts are fucking cold.
No, my fault. That's very insensitive. We've been having very, very shit weather at residence.
Yeah. It's we had one real cold morning, but it's gotten a little better, but it will get worse. That's fine. It's part of life.
No more
Part
weather
of living
warnings.
in a place that has changing weather. So Xbox is fucking hiking their prices up. So first of all, Nintendo was like, hey, $80 games. That's fine, right? $80 US. And everyone's like, boo. And then everyone's like, glad no one else did it. Xbox is fucking rubbing their hands, being like, guess what? Fucking $80 games are happening. And they're up at their console prices. So for the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, it'll cost you more than a PS5 Pro. Why the fuck would you not buy a PS5 Pro over that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I know that technically the Series X is the base version. The 1 terabyte version is cheaper, a little cheaper than a PS5 Pro, but it's more expensive than a PS5. Like, why would you not just? It just doesn't make sense for me for them to up their console price. Ultimately, sure, up your game price. They haven't mentioned upping their subscriptions, and I would rather they don't. But yeah, sure, up your subscriptions, whatever. Keep your console price low, because Sony's putting their prices up, never except America, for whatever reason. Well, not everywhere, but most places, except America. Why would you not want to be the cheapest thing on the market, right? And then sell them subscriptions, sell them games. That's where you make your money. Be at that low price. Be like, look, you can get an Xbox for $100 less than you get a PlayStation.
Yeah, and they could obviously more expensive than the Wii, but I think obviously with the accessibility and like Wii Resort built into it, one of the reasons why everyone and their grandma had a Wii, they weren't as expensive as like PS3, 360.
I think the motion controls appealed to and bundled in with Wii Sports, which apparently was a Reggie Fils-Aimé thing. He really had to convince the other executives at Nintendo because, and I understand this philosophy as well. The Japanese very much have like a philosophy of, well, we spent time and money on it, so therefore we should sell it, right? Which, yeah, I get it. But he was like, look, we need a bundle in Wii Sports. And that's why the Wii was so successful. Because your grandparents would buy it and be like, oh, look, let's play Wii bowling and fucking hucking a ball. And it was so much easier for them to play because they knew how to bowl a bowling ball. They knew how to fucking swing a tennis racket. But as soon as you put a controller in front of them, they're really confused by, like, what do these buttons do? You know, they don't see it as, like, another kind of remote. If you made a controller in a remote shape, I guess like the Wiimote, grandparents could figure that out better than a fucking controller for whatever reason. As soon as you buy it 2 hands, they're like, well, I can't do it. Like, I had to show my mum 100 times how do you play a DVD on the PS2. It wasn't fucking hard. Press the X button. Which one's that? The one with the X on it. Well, it's actually the cross button. Shut up, Stephen. I don't care. Don't call it the cross button.
Nobody calls it the cross button.
Except Sony.
Can relate. Like, I remember, must have been like PlayStation or something, like original PlayStation, and like my mum can play computer games because she's accustomed to like mouse and keyboard, but there's been times where mum's like, oh, that game looks fun. And I was like, do you want to try it? And she just gets real frustrated. She's like, no, can't do it. And then I was like, it's not that hard. You know, and she's like, I know, but it's just like, as soon as it's like, I'm holding a controller, my brain's just like, oh, I can't acclimatize, I can't adjust to it, and then it's like, nah, too hard. And I was like, okay, no, that's, like, I get it, for, like, older people who don't, like, game as much as us millennials and younger gens. It would fucking suck to play Solitaire on a PlayStation 1 controller, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, also, I found as well, you get when you put a controller in the hands of people who haven't really played much or anything, the thing that really throws them off is the left stick that moves your character around, and then the right stick is the view, and that's like where your character's facing. Trying to get them to use both sticks at once is fucking difficult, and I understand that as well. Of like, we grew up with pretty much analog controllers, really. Like, yeah, my first console was a Sega Mega Drive 2, and I had a Game Boy Pocket. But then we got the PS1, and we had it with the analog stick. So I was using an analog stick from a young age. So
imagine I'm wearing glasses. Actually, that was, you had a PSX.
I technically did have a PSX because it wasn't the PSONE. Because I always thought those little white PS1s, I'm like, this shit looks dumb.
I thought it was cool because I'm pretty sure it was released when, like, after the PS2, or maybe just on the cusp of the PS2, and they were like, we'll get some mileage out of it, because they wanted to sell it as, like, Walkman size, so you could put it in your jacket pocket.
All right, it was in Japan 1994.
PS1, like ONE.
Oh, is that right? No, okay.
No.
It's misleading me. It's 2000.
Yeah, it was when, like, on its last legs. Still supporting PlayStation games, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. It came out after the PS2. I didn't even realize that, man. It was same year. It was July when that launched, and PS2 launched in March.
But I could be wrong about this fact. The original PlayStations that came out that didn't have the analog sticks, they were known as PlayStation. But then when they released the ones that had the analog sticks, even though we all knew them as PlayStation, they were PSX. And then that's why you have some people online who'd be like, oh yeah, played like Ape Escape on PlayStation. It's like, oh, actually you played it on PSX.
Anyone who does that is fucking cringe.
Only reason I know about PSX is because that's sort of the namesake of the PlayStation emulator.
Damn. This man emulates. Kill him! Kill him! He's pirating. No, I own all the discs. I swear, I do.
Yeah, no,
I rip all the ISOs myself. Yeah, man, I remember trying to like copy like PS1, PS2 games like when I was quite young, and I just thought I could just copy the files to the PC and then copy them onto another disc. You can't do that. It doesn't work. What was the software I used to use? Image Burn back in the day. Yeah, and just clone them.
I remember with when I must have been like 6 or so. I was like, surely this will work. Put a PlayStation disc into the computer, and I'd be like, I expected that.
And you know what? He still hasn't learnt.
My PC doesn't have a disc drive.
Yeah, I saw you just trying to cram that CD into the side of the case, mate. I saw you.
Half of the CD's like, cut.
No, not Spyro Year of the Dragon.
It was also cool because we had that one mate that had a bunch of like burned games. But the thing is, you can only play these burned games with a mod chip, slap it in the back, but then for some reason to get it to run, you had to get the spring from a pen and have the spring tied around the little tooth part that actually presses the little inside button.
Yeah.
You had to have it coiled around the tooth and into pressing down a little button. I played some burnt games, but I mainly played this it wasn't burnt or anything. It was just a Japanese game. Well, maybe it was burnt. But anyway, it came with none of it in English. A Dragon Ball Z game that I can't remember the name of. It came with Ultimate Battle 22. Remember that, Perla?
Nope.
It was a game where it was like 3D backgrounds, but the characters literally looked like they were cut out of paper and just like stuck on there. Massive roster.
Oh, I think I played this at a friend's house actually.
And the other game it came with was Dragon Ball GT Final Bout.
Welcome to the Grand Tour.
Grand Tour.
Hell yeah! I remember seeing one of these Dragon Ball Z games. I remember seeing characters that I hadn't seen on TV yet. I was like, "Who the fuck is this Boo guy? What the fuck?" Yeah, that was cool as hell back in the day.
So also related, but remind me of when I go to like the warehouse and they'll sell these little like this sized Dragon Ball Z figures, and because I was watching on Channel 3, just got up to like Namek Saga, and then I see like, I was like, no, these are fucking fake. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, Goku's got blonde hair. What the fuck? Shame on me.
Yeah, we had a Japanese student that gave us some Dragon Ball GT colouring books like 3 years before I ever got to see Dragon Ball GT, because we just didn't have it here. Yeah. Yeah, man. We used to get shit like that so late as well back in the day. I remember movies would come out. So, like, movies would come out in America like 6 months before they'd come out here. Like routinely. We would just get movies so late for years. And it was really once we started getting more online, when broadband started getting bigger. It literally wasn't until I was in high school that we started getting movies around the same time as America. Which is crazy to think about. We were so far behind for whatever reason.
I kind of think it funny that like the Japanese must have been laughing at like America, South America, and like us, like Oceania, when we really got into Dragon Ball Z, because like Dragon Ball Z and their movies had been done and dusted since 1995.
Yeah, it started 89. I feel like Dragon Ball Z started in 89. And Dragon Ball, obviously, before.
Dragon Ball started, I want to say, 1986.
Damn. That old. Yeah. Yep. 1989.
No, you're right. Wait, is that when Dragon Ball started?
Those Dragon Balls?
Dragon Balls on your tongue.
No, you're not though.
No, I need like a transformer ladder just to get up to your jaw.
The GT is 96. Damn. Wow. Yeah. So anyway, that was about the Xbox price hike. So. Yeah, I still think. Okay, yes, hardware is getting a little more expensive to produce. Just keep your prices low and make it up in your software and your Game Pass subscription sales. That's what I think Microsoft should do, but they're not doing it. I don't think this is a good move, to be honest. You want to be cheaper than everyone, so you can at least sell some more hardware, because
be more accessible.
Your hardware sales are already fucking low. You're getting your asses beaten. So just be lower in price, and then someone like, oh, you know what? I will get an Xbox Series S for my son because it's way fucking cheaper than the Switch 2 or the PS5. But no,
yeah,
they're not doing that. So I don't know.
Also, boo! I'm gonna say it. Boo to Nintendo for having their tutorial as you have to buy it. Boom.
Yeah. And that comes down to that thing I was saying earlier about the Japanese culture of, we worked hard on this, so therefore you should spend money on it. Astro's Playworld, or Playroom, whatever they call it. Playroom? Yeah, I think it's Playroom. On PS5. Mm-hmm. That bigger pack-in, I feel like, is because Sony's got such a big Western presence now. They were like, yeah, let's just do that as a pack-in, because why the fuck not? And when I was younger, I didn't really see... here's a packing game that you don't want to play. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, man, I love getting a fucking freebie. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. And it's a good way to do it, because in Playroom, it's like, it's got nerd shit in it. Like, oh, you've come to the part where we're referencing the power of the SSD. Well, you're in the SSD part of it level. And I actually kind of like that, because you're showing off a bit of the internals of the console in a clever way, which Nintendo is also doing with this, but you have to pay for it. It's apparently going to be cheap. Also apparently very good, so I'm probably going to buy it like a fucking idiot. But I'll do a full in-depth review, mate. I'll do a 1 hour review on this $10 bit of software. What do you reckon?
Do it.
Yeah. So, Stephen, I don't know if you're aware, the team, Standful Interactive, that made Clair Obscur Expedition 33, their team's 30 developers.
Not 33 developers?
just 30. I think as well there was some outsourcing for certain things as well, but it's a development team with 30 people. And I've heard this become a big talking point and people are sick of hearing it, apparently. I don't know. But I think that's really interesting because I've played games with way more developers. Where did these developers used to work? A bunch of them? Fucking Ubisoft.
Bang.
I said to Steven earlier, I was like, oh, there's a point where Ubisoft will be catching strays, don't you worry. I can't believe that ex-Ubisoft devs, not all of them, but a lot of them, made such an exceptional game instead of their usual fucking Ubi slop, mate. Unbelievable. I didn't know the French were capable of such fucking bangers. Like, this game is truly exceptional, which, spoilers, we're going to be talking about it also on the what we're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've seen 2 different figures thrown around for the budget. I saw one that said $5.5 million, which that sounds way too cheap. I don't think that's the case. And I saw something that said about $50 million, which feels more like a game budget, but I don't know. There's nothing concrete to say how much was actually spent on this game. But for how high quality, nailed it. Don't worry about those other ones. It is amazing for how little really it cost overall. Like, I think Control by Remedy was like 25 million? Man, I wish I remembered that. But there are games out there, especially being made in Europe, that have been done on pretty reasonable budgets, which is great. I think that your California wage, because where a lot of your game development is done, is just very, very expensive. And then people are making these games in Europe and Japan and all these things where it's way cheaper. Oh yeah, 30 million euros, which I think ended up being about 25 million USD, which is crazy for a game like that high quality. And then you see like a good game, but you see Spider-Man 2 and you're like, how the fuck is this $300 million to make this? What the fuck? That's crazy. I also think Expedition 33 is a better game than Spider-Man 2, for my taste personally. Doesn't mean not as much polish and stuff overall, but crazy.
It's like it's weird where they're using like movie budgets for games.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that $300 million is also paying for licensing and stuff like that. I know there's some weird thing with Sony and Spider-Man and licensing where I feel like they own a chunk of it or something. That's why Sony gets to do all their Spider-Man shit. Yeah, but it is crazy. It is crazy, like how some of the best games that are coming out are done on these small budgets. What the other one? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. These are things I should have prepped for and already had these ready to go. But we didn't think about it. Approximately 36.5 million USD. So that is a bit more though, but you know, I'm gonna say nearly like a tenth of what Spider-Man cost to develop. A bit more than a tenth would be, but that's fucking crazy. Especially when you hear about how excellent the game is. Oh, no, that's the first one, 36.5. The second one's 41.5, which is still, in the grand scheme of game development, pretty low. Pretty damn low for something that massive as well and that high quality. I want to see more of this. The developers as well, so Sandful Interactive said they were actually really glad that they ended up on Game Pass. So for a lot of developers, they want some of the money up front, but for these guys it was like they wedged our game between 2 massive titles. I think one of them was Gears of War E-Day, and the other one I unfortunately cannot remember, but they were spaced between 2 massive games, and they
Oblivion?
were just no, this was for showing off the game because Oblivion ended up shadow dropping. but this was at the Xbox showcase. Sorry, I should have elaborated. Yeah, so they were just chuffed to that their game got showed off in between two massive hits, or two massive like blockbuster games, which sometimes you might think, oh, we're being overshadowed because we're in between these two games. Like, no, people were fucking paying attention. So
because I remember when it was announced and they showed the trailer, you were like, I'm gonna keep my eye out on this game. You're like, dumb name, until we learned French. It's just like, but it's like, keep my eye out for this one.
Yeah, I was cautiously optimistic. To be honest, if it wasn't on Game Pass, it's not a game I probably would have picked up. Because I'm a lot more sparing with the games I buy these days. I really didn't expect myself to be buying First Berserker Kazan, but they had a demo and I loved it. So this might have been similar. If this wasn't on Game Pass, I might have played a demo and been like, all right, mate, fucking treat me right. Yeah, it wasn't on my must buy. It was just like a interested.
What tickled my interest was when we watched it, I was like, all right, because you were saying it's like it's basically a JRPG, and I was like, we'll be the judge of that. But the combat, and I was like, damn, this looks real fluid and like real crazy. And I was like, wait, what? Interactive turn-based? That's sick.
And that's why I liked it so much. To be honest, it's probably the biggest thing that really got me hooked. Like, I heard someone say about turn-based games, it's like you're essentially playing an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, I was like, not really, but it's like you're just navigating menus. Yeah, I was like, yeah, kind of, but yeah, this is a lot more. You have to be engaged with it because, we're going to fuck it. We're breaking down the queue. We're gonna talk about it now because we clearly want to fucking talk about it.
They've already nibbled around the edges.
Yeah, there's only the gooey centre left, mate.
Yeah.
So, you are actually far better at going in depth than I am. So, I want you to talk about this game first in terms of we don't want to spoil anything kind of story wise because the story's exceptional and you need to get to that yourself because it is so good. But I want you to kind of explain the game and the mechanics a little bit before I jump in because you're great at this.
So basically, I'd rather not talk about the story just because it's like it is actually like I've played so many like RPGs and JRPGs and they'll be like combat great, story predictable and a little bit dragging, a bit padding, and I was just like, when playing through this, I was like, no, I went out of my way to do side quests because I was just like, I'm not really ready for this ride to end. But so the combat basically, you think it's your average your standard turn based, but I remember it's like, oh cool, you can parry, dodge, and some attacks you can jump, and I was like, that's cool. And then I was just like, this guy, there'd be I think one of the first characters that made me real nail parrying and stuff. It was this boss that does a summon where it's like a wave of ground blasts that slowly edge towards you, and I was just like, shit. I was just like, and I kept it first playthrough. When I first played it, I was just like, I cannot get this right. But then I was like, okay, I'm starting to get a feel for its attack patterns. And I know that when you see the second ground blast, it's like, it's time to parry. And as it seems silly to say that, X is the Dark Souls of X, but kind of with this for turn-based, because there will be times where I would get so fucking miffed that I couldn't beat this boss. And I was just like, yeah, I can dodge, but I don't get AP for it. And I love having AP for my skills. And I was like, alright, I'm frazzled. And I came back, and it's like they've got this this enemy where they have a sword, they stab themselves, coats it in blood, and they take one big swing, another big swing, and then they do an attack that you have to jump. And once I finally nailed that, I was like, that is really satisfying.
It is funny hearing that the gameplay director was a Sekiro speedrunner, because that's where the parrying kind of comes in. It is very similar to Sekiro, which
And
that mechanic itself, and I know as well, meme of who's the Dark Souls, blah blah blah, but it is because, as cringe as it sounds, because it is just, you need to learn patience, you need to learn the attack animations, you need to know when to parry and so on, because you could get through battles by dodging, but it will take you a bit long because the dodge window is larger than the parry window. But when you nail it, it'll tell you perfect dodge, which is like, oh, so if you perfect dodge attacks, let's say 3 attacks in a row, you're like, I know this attack pattern down, so you could then start parrying it. It's like a really clever way of telling you, you understand what you have to do now. It's just really clever design.
another thing that I realized I was so impressed with, and because it's like, oh, it's going to be this sort of boss, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There was one enemy I came across, and there will be certain like stronger bosses that have their own gimmick, and this guy's gimmick was he would keep casting on himself, so he kept on getting more turns, and he would do 3 attacks in particular. One is like a 2-hit combo. The other one is a mortal hit, meaning if you get hit by it, you're dead. But then he does another like attack, and it starts off the same way as the 2-hit combo. And I was like, fuck, how do I know when he's going to pull this? He's going to pull this one, because he hits like 5 or so times. But I was silly, and I was like, oh yeah, getting ready to see his attack. Even just a little bit of a clue is when the text says they're going to do attack, like they'll be like, X is going to do a
3-hit combo.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, I know that there's three I've got to parry. It actually is really good at doing that. And I imagine that it probably wasn't originally in there in development, but that way you can also have attacks that start off looking similar that turn into something else. But letting the player know.
This guy's gimmick was really good for refining your ability to parry, because he kept on casting on himself to take more turns. The gimmick was learn to parry all his attacks perfectly, so you get a counter hit, because when he gets hit with a counter hit, it builds up a large amount of stun.
Yeah.
And so once you find
in the game, they call it break.
Break.
So
yes.
Once you get them to the break meter full, and you use an attack that says can break, then that will stun the enemy.
And the little strategies you can do with your pictos or your skills. Like there's a certain character that I quite like, and I'd be fighting like
so
those.
Pictos are like equipable abilities to your characters.
Yeah, think like materia or AP from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, pretty much like that. They give you some stats, as you just like materia. Yep, so they give you some stats, and then they give you an ability. But then once you have that equipped and you earn enough experience while having that on, you can then equip that to your other characters for a cost, essentially. So everyone's got a set amount of points that you can increase that amount of points, and you can say, oh, this costs 10 points, and it means that my character will, let's actually say 15 points, because I know one that costs 15 points. And then when I do normal attacks, I'll lifesteal, and that costs 15 points out of my 50 or however many you have. You don't get the stat boost that the Picto was giving if you equip it, but you get the ability for that. So, yeah, just thought I'd give that background on Pictos.
Thank you. But one thing that made me feel smart, which doesn't happen often, is so the enemy that I brought up before, the one that will stab himself, make a massive blood sword. When they do that, they grant themselves a shit ton of shields. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to be peeling through a lot of my abilities. There's a certain party member who has an ability that they do damage that it doesn't take off shields, it does damage to their regular health, and the damage is multiplied by how many shields they've got active. Absolutely peeling.
I like as well with that move because it hits you with, 2 strikes, and then if you parry them, your entire party attacks them, so it's got 4 shield, and then you just parry them, and there's like, you only got 1 shield now, bitch. There's another thing in combat as well, is you have like a free aim where it costs you 1 AP, which is what you spend on your ability points, right? So you might have an ability that costs 1, 2, 3, whatever, but there's the free aim that costs 1, and some enemies will dodge most attacks and not dodge those, like flying enemies, which is cool. You can use that to also shoot these enemies that have like a big lantern that's lit up. If you shoot the lantern will go out and then will either weaken the enemy or they won't be able to do certain moves. But that costs you 1 AP to use that. And I thought it was a cool mechanic. Like, you see someone with like 3 shield and you're like, oh, I've got 9 AP, fuck it. I'll just pop my free attacks 3 times and then I'll hit them with something.
Like there's this one enemy that has, it's on wheels, it's standing up straight, and it has a catapult. And when it flings lightning damage at you, and it can be a bit of a prick to deal with, but on its 2 wheels, it's glowing. So if you use your aim and shoot at them and destroy both the wheels, they can't use the catapult attack anymore.
I liked them using that catapult attack though, because that was the easiest one for me to parry. So I was like, keep doing it, bro. Keep doing it. Fire your 4 shots or whatever, and I'll get a counter attack and gain 4 AP across the board.
There's an enemy that's like ice, and then they turn fire, and they're like, blah blah blah, is casting a spell, and the blasts come out really fast, and they alternate speeds. I just learned that as soon as you see like their hands start glowing, that they're about to lob ice at you, just like parry, parry, learn the sound cues, parry, parry.
Yeah, the audio design is exceptional in this game for that kind of stuff. There was my old mate Rio told me as well. She was like, yeah, you should check, listen to the audio for the cues. And I was like, first yeah, I don't know. And then some attacks, you find a boss, and then you hear it, and you're like, oh, that's the time. Oh, and sometimes it helps to count down as well. You're like, I had one that was a real pain in the ass. I was really struggling with the timing because it looked like the timing was 1, 2, 3, but it wasn't. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. So I had to. It gives you a fake on the, because you think the third one's going to hit, and then you parry, and then you get fucked up. So I had to start in my head counting out my 4 count to be able to parry it every time. But once I did, because you could hear it with the audio, like it would be I think it was like with a sword, where you hear choo, choo, and you're like, okay, cool, and then you do the 1 count in your head, and then 4, parry.
It is just...
the audio design is excellent.
It is just so interesting and so cool how they were able to get, like, the concept of, turn-based, where it's like, yeah, as you said, some people have said it's like, oh, just going through menus. But made it so satisfying with the amount of options you have, like the synergies you can have with your party. Like, I love certain character whose thing is they can cast light attacks that stack cards called Foretell on them. And then once you wrap up the AP, you can use a dark attack and it absorbs all the Foretell that you've put on them to amplify damage. And it's sick.
And it sounds like saying gimmick. It makes it sound like it's a bad thing, but it's not. But every character has their own gimmick, essentially. Like, and I actually really like that. It means every single character plays differently, and how you want to use them together. Like that same character, I was using them almost as like a little bit of a healer at times too, because you could just get your stacks on them and then go, I'll use this attack that heals my own party and does more based on how many stacks you've got on them. And you're in a tough spot, you'd pull it, and then you've been stacking for a while. Well, your entire party's on full health. You're fucking good to go. I did that so many times.
The strat I used to run with her is I'd equip her with the Picto that was apply shield on once healed, and says that move Grim Harvest, which heals the whole party. That whole party gets shield.
Yeah,
I thought it was just going to be
strong.
on singular shield heals. Nah,
shield is kind of busted as well. Game is so fucking strong. There's some of these like end game like optional bosses though, ridiculous amount of attacks. Like I tried one of them hit me for 21,000 damage on a hit. I've got like on my character with its most amount of health, I've got like 6,000 health. So I was like, what the fuck? No way I'll survive that ever. So yeah, there's some shield is pretty good.
but also the world, like. Even though people say they have these little inhabitants called gestrels, and they basically look like they're made out of wood and their hair looks like brush tips. They come in various sizes, and they speak, like, their subtitles speak English, but it sounds real, like, garbled up and stuff. And I remember early on going to the Gestrel Beach, we have to do the parkour segment, and dude, because I hadn't progressed that far, I was like, this is the prettiest locale I've seen in a game recently.
It looks awesome, dude. Gestrels are so fun as well, because they're just little paintbrush-headed fucks, and all they want to do is fight.
Yeah.
They're like meatheads, so they just want to scrap all the time, and it's great. I love it. And when you... Oh, man, a mechanic in this game that I love is you go to a merchant, and they, pretty much always gestrels, and you go talk to them, and there's one item that you're like, can't get. It's like, what the fuck? Why can't I get this? And it's like, you got to fight the merchant. So, and as soon as you hit them, and just a little guy, they just go, boom, 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 bulk up and get massive. You're like, oh, shit. And then you got to fight him. Once you beat him, then you can see the item, and then you can buy it. I'm like, oh, that's a cool mechanic. I like that. That's a bit of fun. Yeah, these a lot of people said they thought they were like, oh, the platforming was pretty weak. So in these optional sections, which most of the platforming was optional, which I think is also good. I didn't think the platforming was that bad. people said, oh, it's really bad. These platforming bits suck.
No,
I've played a lot of 3D platformers. I'm a platformer guy, so I feel like some people might be like, you're biased because of that. I'm like, I feel like then that means I know how a good platformer feels, And I think that the platforming was not that bad. It wasn't like, as a platformer, it wasn't the most exceptional platforming. It wasn't fucking Astrobot, shout out. But platforming was fine, didn't it? I didn't have that much trouble. There was these things at the Gestrel Beaches, these little obstacle courses are, like I said, they are completely optional. And it's like, oh, if you complete it, you get a swimsuit. I don't care. But that was content I wanted to get because it was content. So that's why my optional stuff, I'll do that. Like, there was a worse one where you've got to climb up a wall shooting down, like, fireballs at you. That one was kind of fucking shit. That one sucked, man. I struggled a little bit with that one. But the rest of them, like, other than falling off the big platforming one once, And I think I might have fallen off a couple times early, but I had one big fall, and I was like, "Bruh, I ain't fucking doing this again. If I fall again, I'm out of here. I'm coming back later." But no, I only had one big fall and got through to the end.
It's like I'm pretty
fun.
sure like the first parkour one at Gestural Beach is the one where it's like you have to run across these set of logs, then onto like rotating platforms that have pins in them, so you have to jump. You're forced to jump on an angle, and I was getting real frustrated with the log part. And then I was like, okay, I see where you're going wrong. I need to be perfectly aligned when I do the jump across. But then because it starts off with a big jump down, I kept on like trying to get it on the side. And it's like, so I just learned, try to align as much as you can. And as you're about to hit, I would hold the analog stick left. So when, instead of sliding off, my character will land, but they'll sort of move a little bit to the left, which perfectly aligns them. And also, it just took patience. I wanted to like fucking Sonic speed run it, but that's not the type of game it was. It's patient.
Yeah, the game teaches you patience. That was
and
what I
reaction
ended up
times.
learning to love about that too. That's what I ended up loving about Dark Souls 1 once I got it and I accepted that death was part of the game. I learned patience, and just that's when I learned to love the game. And that's why I gelled so quickly with this. Because I haven't had this for me, I actually think now is my favourite turn-based RPG of all time. Final Fantasy VII has finally been surpassed for me. It's been a real fucking long time. That's probably been my favourite for over 20 years. That's been my favourite turn-based RPG. Probably 25 years. And in my mind now, it's finally been surpassed. It's taken that long for me. And for other people, they might be like, "Oh, I prefer Persona," or "I prefer..."
Like a Dragon.
There you go. Everyone's got their favourites. Everyone's got different games that hit for them. But this, I was like, holy shit. Because I'm not really a turn-based guy, but even though I've got some roots in turn-based, and I still enjoy Pokemon. But yeah, I was just so blown away. And I think it is just that interactivity. Like, there's an enemy type as well in this game, which I don't think is a spoiler. But they've got French mimes, like your fucking classic mimes. They're so French. The music is so French, and it's really good. All the music is actually exceptional. They found this guy on fucking SoundCloud. What the fuck? Like, he was just putting up tunes. They're like, dude, do you want to make music for this game? And these mimes are goofy. They start off by, building an invisible wall in front of them that you then have to. The idea is you have to build up that break meter to then break it, and then you can deal way more damage to them. And there are things that like they start slapping you with big gloves. They start hitting you with a
invisible hammer. Yeah,
invisible like mallet. Like it's hilarious, and they're really good to teach you timing. And then they're optional. Like most of them are optional, and they help kind of teach you the mechanics. And then they're like, you got a new hairdo and a new outfit for a character
because they're always wearing the hair.
Stuff. Yeah. They look ridiculous as well, wearing the hair.
I also loved, like, when you initially boot up, when you start playing the game, it has a bit of a somber and serious tone. But when you meet the Gestrals and a certain beat just comes in, I was just like, what the fuck is this? This is so upbeat.
Yeah, to be fair, though, there are some upbeat moments, but most of it, for the story, it's going to be... It's going to be sad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The one of the voice actors of the one of the characters in the game, Ben Starr, who's also Final Fantasy 16, and does the Balatro ads. My old mate I mentioned earlier, Rio, she said, because I was like, oh yeah, Ben Starr is great as this character. And she was like, oh wait, Ben Starr from the Balatro ads. I'm like, no fucking way. Like, not from Final Fantasy 16. Not from First Berserker Kazan. From the Balatro ads. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. I was like, that's how you know him. Yeah, but he said as well, it's a game about grief, like the story. That's as much as I will say in terms of I won't go into depth with any of that, but
Good grief.
yeah, great grief. Or,
Great grief.
but that's essentially it. So the story is really depressing in times, and it's quite heavy, but it was exceptional. Like the whole thing starts off, you know, in your little prologue, and then you hear about, oh, we've got to take down the paintress, and every year a new number is painted on this. What do they refer to it as? That where is she? What is her domain called? I can't remember.
The canvas?
No,
I don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway, but she paints a new number every year, and you know the gourmage happens, and then it's like, oh, I was just 34 this year, 33. Everyone who's 33 dies. Everyone's fucking gone.
Gourmage.
Yeah. Stephen didn't survive. I did. I scraped through. I went on the expedition to end it all. To end it all, I was like to kill myself. Didn't have to go far. Found the rope. Took a dark turn. Yeah. So then all the other people who are left. It's usually the people who are 32. Some younger. There's no older people at that point because they've all died before. They have to go on their expedition to be like, look, we want to end this once and for all, so this doesn't happen to anyone else. We want the cycle to end. So that's why they're going out. I won't tell you what happens, but the cutscene when Act 1 starts is fucking insane.
Intense.
It is absolutely insane. Because I was liking it in the prologue, and I saw that. There's so few times to me that it's a cutscene that's spoken to me because I'm gameplay focused, right? Usually I'm like, oh, it's the gameplay that hits for me. Because I hadn't done much combat at that point. It was that cutscene. I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking in. What is this? Who are these characters? What is happening? And then you're out on your adventure. Something I love about the game is because you're finding little audio logs from other expeditions, like people who've been on expeditions before you, and sometimes they will tell you things that are interesting and insightful, and like you hear, oh, this expedition 42, and they're like, oh, we were the climbing expedition, so we've put all these handholds around places, so this makes sense for up the side of a mountain that you're like, oh shit, there's handholds because that expedition was there before us. And you'll see a flag with like their number, so if it's like 42, you'll see the number 42 flag sticking up, and you're like, oh, that's cool, which is also like your checkpoint where you level up and
rest
in your abilities and rest and so on. Yeah, so you see that, and I love that also, the environmental storytelling of it being someone else's flag, and you're like, that's really cool. And sure enough, in the end game, you're seeing 33 flags because you're the only people who have been in this part, and I think that's really cool as well. Like, there was so much good environmental storytelling with that stuff, and there'd be little logs that'll be like, I ate some mushrooms and I don't feel so good. And you're like, oh fuck, and that's where some expedition ended because they ate mushrooms or something that they thought they could trust and couldn't. Yeah, there's so much good stuff. The story I loved, and I think as well I said about grief of someone who has gone through some grief. This makes it sound really dramatic, but it really resonated with me because I was like, oh man, and especially with like the ending and how it ends. And so essentially you've got two endings. I won't say much about either of them, but I know the choice that I made, and I don't think it's a choice a lot of people would have made, but it was talking to one of my mates. They made the same choice. I was like, okay, I feel like that's good. But yeah, both endings are really like not good in a way that is like, oh, they filled me with so much joy, but they were like quite thought-provoking and quite like, damn. Like, so first ending I did it myself, and the second one I just looked up on YouTube because I was like, look, I've beaten the game. I just want to see what the other choice was. But really quite deep endings. they don't over-explain things, but they like to make sure that you, the player, knows what's kind of going on when they want you to know it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of mystery, and then they actually explain most things, which I did enjoy. And here's a cutscene, or here's the characters talking. So, yeah, truly an exceptional game, and I mean, it is a Game Pass banger. We talked about it last week. It was on our Smash All Game Pass. So definitely worth playing. This is the first time we've ever been like, all right, we need to talk about this early because we keep fucking bringing it up.
Also,
it is truly exceptional, and I for me, it is by far my front runner for Game of the Year. And I'm glad actually GTA 6 has been delayed because that gives us a much better chance as well.
It was also really nice that shout out to brother Script, who was like, well, you two are singing high praises, and Lewis and I, we like, there are certain games we like, both like, but we both have our own niches, what we gravitate towards. But the fact that we were both like, no, this is probably my game of the year. This is a brilliant game. It's like,
me, you,
okay.
and my mate Rio. Like, all three of us have played very different games. Oh, well. Sorry that I've known her for longer than I've known you, Stephen.
I know her as well. What do you mean?
Nah, you've never met her before, don't lie.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, I didn't say our, Stephen. I wasn't being communist here. I was just thinking, yeah. I'm sorry, Stephen. Our personal friend Rio. But very rare for us to all play the same game at the same time. Steve and I will play a few indies at the same time, but
mainly indies, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't believe all three of us who have very different tastes in games all being like, that's my game of the year right there. I mean, we're 5 months in. It could change. I don't think it will. I think something truly exceptional would have to come out. What have I even got on my list? Ghost of Yotei, which I can't remember if it's Yotei or Yotai. Someone would be upset because, pronouncing it probably wrong, but looks really good, but I also don't know if I'm going to day one it. And I really did enjoy Ghost of Tsushima. But I just don't know if it's going to hit these levels of like everything for me. I was going to say these levels of what, and then I was going to name a specific thing. I'm like, no, it's not just one thing though. It's everything comes together so perfectly. Like, we barely touched on the soundtrack, but it's exceptional. It's an amazing soundtrack. And there's parts like Alex, she's like, are they singing in French? I'm like, yeah, but it's all about the vibe. She's like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It wasn't about what was being said in the song. It was about how the song made you feel.
Did she translate it for you?
She doesn't know any French. Disgusting. I gotta stop slagging off the French now. I'm a changed man.
Yeah.
Definitely play it. It's
not a white flag in sight.
Not one. Also, look, the French were had won probably not more than anyone, but they've won so many fucking wars. The French were so elite in combat for so long, and then they surrender in both world wars, and everyone's like, "Oh, the French waving the white flag, you suck." And people are like, "What about all this history? Boo, who fucking cares?" Yeah, it's pretty funny. People, it's like, yeah, you lost in the two big modern wars, so people don't give a fuck about your history anymore. Definitely, play it, buy it, play it on Game Pass, do whatever you want, but absolutely just play it and enjoy it.
Show the studio some love, because you can definitely tell a lot of passion has gone into it. A lot of really good narrative, but also the world building, and also a fun game.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of love in all departments has gone into this game.
I wonder if we would have got this if they weren't so pent up from working at Ubisoft, they were like, I just want to create something interesting and exciting. They're like, No, we've
Assassin's
done making
Creed.
Rayman games. Make Assassin's Creed. Make The Division, which I actually enjoyed. Make anything else.
It's just
Make
like
another Far Cry, which is not going to improve the formula almost at all in like 20 years.
they'll just be like, Ubisoft would have been like, well, you guys still complaining? You guys got fucking Child of Light. Is that not good enough?
You're like, yeah, I got Child of Light. What, fucking how many years ago? Like 12 years ago?
Yeah.
I'd love a Child of Light too. That game was so good, man.
It's just like, I'm sorry, but all your coins for non-annual releases have been spent on Child of Light. Sorry, but that's,
Yep. So, yes, play the damn game. Treat yourself.
Actually, treat yourself.
Treat yourself to Game of the Year.
I've talked to a couple of my co-workers, and I did not think it would be his jam. And then I was like, rumor tells me that you've been on an expedition. He's like, fuck yeah, I have. And I love it. Some of the post-game bosses suck. But that's because I haven't been paying attention to their attack routines.
I just got a Windows Defender jump scare. Actually, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it just gave me a fright. It popped up so aggressively. Yeah. So do try it. Respawn is Respawn and EA. So I was surprised Respawn's laying off about 100 devs, and I couldn't understand why. I mean, maybe they'd overexpanded in COVID, but I was like, Respawn's kind of the one team at EA who's actually exceptional. I couldn't believe it. So EA overall, they'll lay off about 400 people, and 100 of them at Respawn, and they've cancelled a new Titanfall game that was early in development and was going to be an extraction shooter. So I'm not opposed to extraction shooters. I like the idea, but I don't always like playing them. Like, I'm ready for my once every 3 or 4 months humped showdown session, and then I'll get stressed out and not play it again for 3 or 4 months. But great game, but it's just so tense and so sweaty. So, yeah, I would just like them to make another Titanfall. And I know that Titanfall 2 didn't do that well. After they fucking wedged it between their own game, Battlefield, and wedged it between Call of Duty. Like, why would you release your own game? Here's a new shooter IP. Let's release it between our massive IP and the biggest shooting IP. Why would you fucking do that, EA? You fucking idiots. So, I think that Titanfall 2 would have sold way more copies if EA weren't morons.
Incompetent?
I wouldn't say incompetent, but it's really dumb. It's very stupid doing that. And they really just hurt Titanfall as a brand. And I think that's why... I mean, Apex Legends has been doing well for a long time. And I know that's in the Titanfall universe, but... yeah, don't just try to follow trends for the sake of it. So probably for the best it got cancelled, but I would love to see like a Titanfall 3. Every now and again, me and the boys will go back and play Titanfall 2, and I still think Apex Legends overall feels a little better because it is newer. But if you just want a pure like FPS experience, and you got the mix, Titanfall 2 I think is the best feeling out of all of them. I think you got that in Apex, and then I think Call of Duty's probably next, which might be controversial, but I think Call of Duty still feels fucking great to play. I still enjoy it. But yes, Titanfall, maybe we'll never get a new one because for whatever reason now they're just like, oh yeah, so Respawn's going to make Star Wars games and only Star Wars games, even though they're really fucking good. I would just love a new Titanfall. So, maybe one day, but there's nothing in pre-production, so we're probably not going to get another Titanfall game for fucking 10 years.
Unlucky.
Fuck you, EA.
Yeah, get it together.
Yeah, sort it out, mate. So, Xbox is now the largest third-party publisher on PlayStation.
That's so interesting.
It's so wild, and I know as well it's kind of cheating because I've got Call of Duty now, But Forza Horizons sold really well. They're publishing all sorts of shit on there now. I know that Sea of Thieves has done well on there. Grounded did okay. Pentiment didn't sell well, but fuck it, it's another one that's on there. Hi-Fi Rush hasn't sold exceptionally, but it's on there. They just have so many games now coming out on there because they've bought so many studios, and I think that's real interesting. And this isn't the game plan I expected for Microsoft overall, but look, yes, if you sell a game on PlayStation, your competitor gets 30% of that, but you get 70% of that. So ultimately, you are making more money on that sale. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see going forwards. And then they've now announced Gears of War Reloaded, which is a remaster of the remaster of Gears of War 1. Why are we not getting Gears 2 and 3? Who fucking knows? But we're getting Gears 1 again. But it's also coming to PS5. That's part of this, which is fucking crazy because that was the reason I bought an Xbox 360 back in the day, was for Gears of War. Wasn't even Halo. I played Gears of War. Shout out Peter. Peter often gets a shout out. Shout out Peter. Boxing with him this weekend, so it should be good.
Yeah.
His sister's boyfriend brought up his Xbox 360 on a trip to Hamner Springs, where they used to have a badge. I think they've sold it. Pretty sure they have. Not that that's fucking important to anything, but I'm giving you some backlore, giving you some deep lore on my old mate Pete. Yeah, world building from my old mate Pete. And we played a bit of split screen PvP, just 1v1 of Gears of War, and I was like, first time I'd held an Xbox 360 controller, barely played the original Xbox, and once I got the hang of it, I started fucking up Peter and Callum. I was destroying them, and I was like, fuck man, this game rules, chainsawing them in half. I was like, bro, when I get home, I'm buying one of these fucking consoles. So, sure enough, that was why I bought it. Bought it with, I think I've told the story before, but I bought it with Halo 3 and Gears 1, which was a great bundle, better than Kung Fu Panda and Lego Indiana Jones. I had to get it shipped from Ashburton. Shout out Ash Vegas. And I tried playing Halo, and I was like, yeah, it's just not for me. And later on, was for me. Just playing Gears, I was so blown away. I was so blown away by all the colours, like brown and grey. So yeah, it's crazy to see this. The reason I bought my way into the Xbox ecosystem coming to PlayStation. Great that it's also coming to PC, and crazy to think that Gears of War 1's been on PC 3 times and Gears 2 and 3 have been on PC 0 times, but hopefully they'll do those in future. Yeah, it's a big, I think it's a big deal because Lord Cognito of the Defining Duke podcast and the Iron Lords podcast, he talked about what he likes to call the burger, fries, and shake, and that's what'll get you on Xbox. And he was like, it's Halo, it's Gears of War, and it's Forza. And currently they've got the burger and fries. They just need the shake. Well, at least because Halo would probably be the burger, but they just need one more component, and then all of the burger, fries, and shake, the combo to get you on Xbox, is going to be on PlayStation. And I'm sure Halo's coming. It's a matter of time. I wonder if we'll get more like timed exclusive stuff from them. Like, so Gears E-Day, when it comes out, maybe it's on Xbox and PC for 6 months before it's on PlayStation. So there's still incentive to have an Xbox, but you still do need to incentivize people for your own console, because you don't make as much money on the hardware, but every version of that you sell on your own console when it's first party, you get 100% of the profits. You're not giving someone else 30%. You're getting the whole take. Or a subscription, you're getting the whole Game Pass subscription. You're not
the whole shake.
Getting someone else. Yeah, you're getting the whole shake. You're getting the salt on the fries, mate, So
in the bag.
yeah, put the fries in the bag, Stephen.
Microsoft.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So I'm gonna play through it again. I think we might end up all playing through it. I think we might be doing the 4-player multiplayer run of it. It's only like 6 hours, so we'll do it in like 3 streams, I'd say. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. But crazy that their second, maybe Forza probably sold better. Probably the third biggest franchise is coming to their competitor. It's like if we had a Sonic game on the Nintendo platforms. Oh wait, no, we do.
Why?
Sonic actually feels most at home on Nintendo platforms now as well. Isn't that crazy? No one gives a fuck about Sonic. Fair enough.
No, I mean, surely, like, I'm just hoping that because the movies are good. They sort of broke that. They consistently smash that thing of movie adaptation of games suck, but it's real funny where it's just like it's the reverse. The movies are really good. Games are well, apparently
I'm not a fan of 3D Sonic.
I don't like how one of the things is he does homing attacks. It's like jump and zoom into that pass. Like it feels clunky to me. I don't like it.
Nah,
apparently Shadow Generations is real good.
But I tried to play the original Generations on PC and it crashes for me, and I'm like, fuck this. I ain't giving you more money.
I just couldn't click. I couldn't click with it.
I don't blame you. I guess while we're on the Xbox thing, the last thing on Xbox for this one, well, until we talk about Game Pass, is Game Pass. PC Game Pass grew by 45%.
Hell yeah!
Which is massive. That is huge. And PC Game Pass is also actually really good value because it's cheaper than console. I've got Ultimate because I like to sometimes say I'm going to play this on console. But I actually Expedition 33 runs worse on console, so fucked up my parry timing. So I went back to playing it on PC. It was when Alex was around as well, so it was funny. I was thinking about what are we gonna do before dinner, and I was like thinking I know what I want to do, and I'm like I don't want to be antisocial in my office here and just play E33. So remotely, I went on my phone, booted up the Xbox app. Yeah, can you install this to my Xbox? Yep, sweet as. 10 minutes later, it's like, I've installed. Like, hell yeah. So we got back to mine and booted it up and showed her what it was about.
Is she keen on it?
It's not her type of game.
Nah.
I think she would get frustrated with the parry windows because she's not a patient woman.
But that's where you can change the difficulty to story.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to date a casual, mate. She lowers the difficulty. I'm like, pack your bags, get out of here.
You're just like, oh, you left something in my room. Change difficulty back.
Look, I wouldn't put it past me. No, I don't really care. I like to play games though on whatever difficulty they're intended to be played on. Like I don't need to be like, I'm going to put it on the most hardcore mode. I did when I was younger, but that's what I like about Souls likes and so on. It's like, look here. Most of the time, it's like here's one difficulty. Do it. Right, cool. All right.
What's the difficulty? The game.
Exactly. I feel like it's much harder to balance on like you got four difficulties for the game. I feel like it's much harder to balance the game because you've got to do that 4 times. You've got to have people play through the difficulties or 4 times essentially to make sure everything's perfect, or develop it with one difficulty and you just have to do it once.
I do like the idea, like because people can take it either way of when you die too many times in certain games. I'll take Mullet Magic for example. you die too many times in a run, it'll suggest you like you can change the difficulty level, and there'll be the side that's like, okay, maybe maybe I should crank down the difficulty level, but then I'm like, fuck you! You're saying I'm bad at this game.
I hate seeing that screen. Wait, shut the fuck up. As in Samuel Jackson, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
I think the first time I encountered that in the game was like one of the infamous games. It's like, oh, you're dying a lot. Do you wanna crank back the difficulty? Nah. No, thank you, sir.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here. Yes, but that is some good Game Pass growth anyway. So good to see for us Game Pass enjoyers. GTA 6 has been delayed, but it actually has a release date. So I was a believer that GTA 6 was going to release this year. A lot of people didn't believe it, but I was like, I think it's happening because that shit that leaked years ago, people were like, oh, it looks like shit. It's like an early build. Excuse you, mate.
Thank you.
Couldn't mute your microphone? The fuck? What are you doing? What are you fucking doing, mate? What kind of shit show are we running here?
I guess it's a little bit better than when you cough, all I see is...
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, tickle at the back of my throat fucking sucks, bro. I laugh too hard and then I'm just coughing real bad. It sucks, man. But yes, GTA 6 be delayed, but at least we have a release date. Also, I feel like if someone watched this and doesn't know us, be like, man, he just started going off on him. What the fuck is his problem? Like, no, it's just a bit. I just lean into it. But yeah, it's just a bit. I'm just a bit of a cunt.
Do anything for the bit.
Do it all for the bit. Come on. Anyway, I've also delayed this fucking segment. GTA 6 has been delayed. 26th of the 5th for you non-Americans, 2026. But yeah, I really did think it was going to release this year, but I'm not too worried. I am going to play GTA 6, and I will probably get it on launch. I'm not really a GTA guy, almost at all. It's just not really for me. I'm not a big Rockstar Games guy. I think their games are great, but just not for me. I feel like they always feel a little clunky. They feel a little dated in the gameplay. All the other systems, really, great. But I want to be part. When it comes out, it's going to be the biggest thing in the world, and I do want to be a part of that zeitgeist.
He wants to be a part of the most culturally relevant thing of our time.
I'm not always like that. Yes, I bought Baldur's Gate 3 close to launch because I had Steam credit, and then was like, nah, not for me. And I tell you
Even though we stream.
After playing it for 70 hours, it's still not for me. still not for me at all. There are some moments that have been real good. Not my type of game.
Of them.
Nah, it's too far between those exceptional moments for me, personally. But at its highs, it is real good. And I see the appeal, but it's just... And Grand Theft Auto is kind of similar. But it is too big of a thing for me not to check out. And that's the same reason I said I bought Baldur's Gate 3. It's partly because you get swept up in the hype a little bit, but also because I want to see why people are saying this game is Game of the Year. And I get it. It's not for my taste. Which also, once again, why Expedition 33 is, I think, so exceptional that I've said before, I'm not really a turn-based RPG guy. And I was like, bro, I'm so mind-blown by this. This is so good. So...
Yeah, it's like a turn-based, it's like, I am a dragon and I am on a quest.
I do want to, at some stage, get back to Dragon Quest 11?
Yeah.
11?
Great game.
It was on Game Pass, and then before I got to play it, it left Game Pass. I'm like, damn it.
I'm considering buying it again.
I think I might when it's on sale. Because, like I say, I do like turn-based, but I'm not a turn-based guy overall. I like it, but I'm not looking for the next turn-based game. It's with when a good one comes out, I want to know about it. I know people, Baldur's Gate 3 is turn-based. It's different turn-based though. It is. Like
it's more tactical.
It is turns, but it is more like tactical RPG than like purely like what I would consider turn-based. You know. So That's yeah. Is that anyway? GTA 6. Yeah, I'm interested anyway. Like the new trailer they put out looked really good. It looks really well polished. The characters look interesting. We know that that Latino she's going to be a wild woman. The other guy looks a little more reserved, but in a good way. Yeah, I want to see that dynamic unfold of the characters and see where the game goes. So. And I think GTA Online is going to be fucking insane.
Can't wait for them Fiverr mods.
You
know about them?
No.
It's like for GTA 5. It's called like Fiverr or Five'em, and it's a mod where you work a 9 to 5.
Oh, like the GTA roleplay stuff.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't look like it's releasing day one on PC. It looks like it's releasing on Xbox and PlayStation. Also not on Switch 2 straight away, but who knows, that might change. But I'm surprised. So I know this has been the case historically on GTA. Like GTA 5 didn't release on PC till it released on Xbox 360 and PS3 a year or close to a year later. It released on Xbox One and PS4, and then I think it was 6 months after that it released on PC. But PC has kept GTA Online alive, like almost single-handedly. So that's why I'm surprised that it's not launching on PC. Because that's the community that kept your game alive and relevant and kept you making money. But, oh well. We'll just have to wait on PC, and like an idiot, I might buy it twice. For a game I don't like. Well, don't like is a stretch. A game I'm not super into.
Yeah.
But Alex is also going to get it, so we're going to play some online together as well on PS5.
And role play.
I wonder how it's going to run on base PS5, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And Devolver, one of our favourite publishers, who have a really good eye for indie talent. They've said, "Oh, GTA, you think that, or Rockstar, you think you could delay GTA to get out of our way? No, we're going to make sure we release a game the same day as you do." So everyone's trying to get out of the way of Grand Theft Auto, and like heaps of games were like delaying and stuff, partly because to get out of GTA's way, and now everyone's relieved. Devolver's like, nah, fuck you, we're going to release the same day. We will have to see how that goes for them.
Hell yeah.
I feel like your Grand Theft Autos and your indie games are not competing for the same share of the market generally. So it's probably a safe bet. It probably is a safe bet. If they put out like Hotline Miami 3, I would probably rather play that before I'd play GTA 6. To be honest. It says more about me than GTA.
Katana Zero 2?
Oh, dude, Katana Zero is so fucking good. That was a game I played because it was leaving Game Pass, and I was like, fuck, I better play this quick. And played it over like 2 days. I was like, bro, this game fucking rules. What an exceptional game. Oh, that's a must play, man. That would have been a smash with Game Pass if it was still on there. I think I then, out of my love for it, ended up buying it because I was like, this deserves me to buy it.
Never played on Game Pass. I just got it on Steam just because I remember seeing the gimmick. It's cool.
It's a really fun game, and the story ends up being actually better than you'd expect as well.
Yep.
Not anything crazy or super profound, but it was like, I was like, wow, this is really good. So, yeah. Shout out Katana Zero.
Yeah.
I should just give that a go. My dog's just wanting some attention. Ain't you?
Also, isn't it so satisfying? So, for people who haven't played it, Katana Zero is one hit, you're dead, but you can slow down time, so you can like dodge a gunshot, or you can open the door, kick the door open, which kills someone who's near it, and then lob a gasoline bottle at someone, and maybe roll out of the way and slice someone. But when you finish the run, it will play video footage of your run, but they get rid of the slow-mo. It just makes it look like you're so good at this game.
Yeah, you look so elite in those little replays. You're like, oh, hell yeah. Dude, I love it. It's almost the opposite in Super Meat Boy. it plays back all your deaths and everything, and your successful run all on one screen. So you see like 100 Meat Boys jumping over into fucking saw blades and stuff. That was fun, man. That game, that was like the early stages of like console indies. Because when you say early stage of indies, people are like, no, the indie games way before that. You're like, yes, but this was like the Xbox 360, like Xbox Arcade stuff where they started showcasing indies. What do we have back then? We had like Explosion Man, Super Meat Boy, you had Braid,
Missplosion Man.
Yeah. Missplosion Man was like a clever like, oh, remember Miss Pac-Man? We're doing the same thing. It's same kind of game, but she's pink with a bow on instead of instead of red like Explosion Man. That was fun.
Trials? Did you say that?
I didn't say Trials, but Trials was good too. Yeah, and Trials started off as a Flash game. I guess so did like some of these other kind of games. I mean, that was a lot of that Flash was in at the time.
Castle Crashers.
Castle Crashers was great, man. Alien Hominid, same dudes.
I'm pretty sure Alien Hominid started off as a Newgrounds game.
I think it did. Yeah, it was a Flash game on Newgrounds. Yeah, who's that? The Behemoth, I'm pretty sure. I played the other game they did for a while, Pit People. It didn't. I could see it stuff in there that I thought was good, but it had more. I felt like it had more potential than it ended up living up to. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I put more time into it. I've only put about 3 hours in. I think I played it early access though as well, but it was fun. It was kind of a grid tactics game. I love the art style though, the Behemoth art style. It is just Newgrounds Flash vibe. The first Binding of Isaac was made on Flash. It was released on Steam, but it was made on Flash. But I remember old mate Chaz. Well, you know Chaz. Okay. This makes it sound, oh, this is not my friend, this was our friend. Okay? We were both friends with him. I'm just clarifying. I don't want Stephen getting upset again. I wasn't upset.
That's just weird phrasing.
I know. I fixed it. It's fine. His laptop was crap, and he was playing the Flash version, and the Flash version also didn't matter how good your PC was, it would lag if you had like too many enemies on screen because there's just a limitation of Flash. So his shitty laptop, he was playing the game at like half speed, so he was like killing these super hard bosses quite easily because he could just dodge out of the way of everything because everything was so fucking slow on his shit laptop. And I'm like thinking, this is bullshit, man. I gotta play this shit in way more frames than this. Yeah, I'm glad they re-released. At first, I was like, I don't know if I'm convinced by this new art style. And then over time, I'm like, okay, the new art style looks way better than the Flash one. Where did my dog go? Anyway, enough about that. We got a little Smash or Game Pass. So, a game I wanted to highlight, because we've already talked so much about Expedition 33, and we kind of said Oblivion last week as well. But I just saw this as on there. I already own it. I had a friend buy it for me on Steam. But I want to shout out Dredge. So, Dredge is kind of a tough one to explain, and I haven't played it yet. But it's made by Kiwi devs, so of course I want to shout them out. But it's a fishing game, so you're on a fishing vessel, but it's also like a Lovecraftian kind of horror-esque game about fishing on a boat. So it is a very like random kind of premise, but you're on this boat, you go around, you're catching your fish, and you start seeing some fucked shit in the water and so on. And like I say, Lovecraftian, so I imagine there's some Cthulhu-like kind of stuff going on as well. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things. Alex played through it and she really enjoyed it. And just want to give some love to some Kiwi devs as well. So have a look at Dredge, because I've heard nothing but good things. It's got an 80 on Metacritic, which is pretty solid. It's a small team. Also published by Team 17, which always reminds me of worms. It reminds me I need to take my worming tablet. So just remember, guys, take your worming tablets, all right? Otherwise, you'll be rubbing your ass on the carpet like a dog. Pro tip. What What about
Okay.
you, Stephen? Oh, this is how you know Stephen's a prepared man. He's looking it up right now. He's looking up what to pick.
No. So, if this is the same developer I'm thinking of, and I'll have a chat with me mate tomorrow or whenever I see him. Might have had a friend who, I have a friend who potentially had a yarn with one of the main guys making this game on the bus. And
Pretty cool.
he was just like, he's like, did you make, because he said it was a fishing game done by a local devs. He's like, did you make Dredge? And he says like, yeah, I did. What'd you think about it? It's like, oh no, it's good. It's clunky in some areas. He's like, oh shit, don't mean to shit on you. And he thinks like, nah man. It's like, we love hearing feedback, how we can keep on improving. And he's like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, seems like it's 4 dudes. Then, mate.
4 dudes.
So yeah, that's pretty fucking good for 4 people. That's cool.
I haven't been playing anything on Xbox apart from Expedition 33. It's just, it scratches the itch for what I'm looking for. Satisfying gameplay, great sound design, really, really nice visuals. It's, I hate to say it, breathtaking. It's only...
it's Keanu Reeves.
Only... Okay, I'm not going to say it's lower than Like a Dragon. But it's not surpassing Like a Dragon just on the sole thing of the humor in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is so fucking wacky and so Japan. And it makes me holler. But there are some moments, like dialogues between characters in Expedition 33, that have given me a chuckle. And a grim, dark, pretty somber setting. There's moments where, like, I was chuckling. But I can't say why, because you need to play the game.
This is something I always joke about with Alex. I'm like, with my taste in games, I'm like, yeah, just give me a real miserable, fucked up world to play through. Like every Souls game. Yeah, every fucking Souls game, play through Bloodborne, play through Elden Ring. It's like, yeah, this world's fucked. And that's just what I like. So when I'm like, oh man, there's a fucked world, there's fucked shit going on, I'm like, hell yeah, dude, let's go. So, yeah, that's another reason it probably hit for me, because I'm miserable. I'm fine.
He's not.
Just for the bit, mate. It's for the bit. I'm sad for the bit.
There's no bit. This is cry for help.
There's no bit.
We actually organised this podcast just as a bi-weekly, like a fortnightly check-up on the man.
Bro, you're kind of turning around my intervention bit from earlier. How dare you? I don't know what I'd be intervening for you, really. It's like, Stephen, we need you to stop taking so much creatine and protein powder. You're getting too swole.
And but I like the shit.
Yeah, this man loves a good shit.
Not the past, week. I had really bad gastro, so I was vomiting up walls and...
he was shitting bad.
Any amount
Nothing
of...
solid.
Not even liquid, just any amount of moisture that I intake. So, it's coming out.
Hell yeah, brother. God. I was going to say, this is something I was, not every shit you have, like, yes, taking a shit can be good, right? Not every shit is a good shit, though. You might have a shit that's a little uncomfortable. You might have shit where you feel like you haven't got all of it out. How many times have you had a bad piss? How many pisses of yours have been bad? Because I tell you what, I've never had a bad piss. I've never had a UTI. I've never had an STD. So I've never been like that peased. The only thing I've had was once I cut some chilies, and I didn't wash my hands thoroughly enough, and I was like, it's a little warm, it's a little tingly, but that's my own fault. Okay, wash your hands thoroughly after you cut chilies. Don't just give them a little rinse off before you touch your wee fella. All right, once you touch your pecker, just a pro tip. I never had a bad piss.
I've had one bad piss, and that was school trip, and it was I think it might have been like a 3-hour long car ride, and I've been holding in a piss for like borderline 2 hours, to the point where my stomach and below my stomach was in pain, and that's when I piped up and was like, I need to piss. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's fine. And when I go to the bathroom, it wasn't a glorious fucking gushing waterfall. It's like, I'm so relieved. It came out like, imagine you had a bag of water and you put the tiniest little pinprick in it. It was coming out painfully slow, and I was like, I'm still in pain. And it just kept on going, and I was standing there for like a solid 6 minutes.
Funny you described it that way, because I'd also describe your penis as a tiny pinprick. So
hell yeah, but I'm also not penetrating my own bag, dickhead.
Well, not yet, but there's still time. We don't know.
They just rest perched on them.
I'm glad that you feel better now, Steve. I'm glad you're
so much better. I went to work, and then manager was like, you look like shit and you're so pale. Can you go home? And I was like, yep. And I slept so much. But when I couldn't sleep because I overslept, I've been playing Expedition 33. It's the one game that helped me through recovering from gastro. That's my seal of approval.
Yeah, I felt like I was really far behind Stephen and our friend Rio. Because it was like, where are you up to? And I was like, I'm only up to here. They're like, oh, it gets really good. I'm like, fuck. My work, Friday was coming up, and it was looking quiet. And I've been feeling a little burnt out recently anyway. Not real burnt out, but just a little bit. And I was like, my boss, I'm like, hey, what are the chances you think I could get Friday off? And he had a look, and he's like, oh, yeah, might be able to get it off. And then when I applied, he approved it within 2 minutes. Bam, yeah. Sweet.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I was like, oh, I'll get my housework and stuff out of the way first, and then I'll start playing. All of Friday, I pretty much played.
Hell yeah.
And then Saturday, I was like, okay, housework. He knew as well. He's like, take that day off. You want to play that game, don't you? I was like, yeah. So I caught up at the end.
Hell yeah.
So I've got a review for you.
Ooh.
Lost Odyssey, Nier, and Shadow Hearts. Tossed in a blender with Sekiro's parry. This game is incredible and possibly the single greatest thing to come out of France since the invention of the croissant, or as the French say, it's not croissant. Croissant. And their last bit was my little flair. Don't worry about that. So this was from Isopod Shuffle on Steam, and of course about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So I liked that review. It gave me a laugh. Referencing Shadow Hearts, which our mate Hamish, see what I did?
Yeah.
That one. Look, you've known him for longer than me. He
you can't just
Shadow
refer
Hearts.
to him as that one. Ah.
You know what I mean. Oh, and look at that, Scrifflet's playing it. Yeah. So great review, but yeah, Hamish mentioned Shadow Hearts. He was talking about the combat system and saying it reminded him of that. He also likes Nier. He'd probably like Lost Odyssey too if he'd played it. So very much up his alley. I hope he gets to the game anyway. But great review. Gave me a chuckle. What do you got, Stephen? What do you got for me, mate?
Well, this is sort of from, when I'd play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I would sort of slog through because, like, there's times when I play this, it's like, I kind of wish I was just playing Xenoverse 2 instead, which has its own problems. So I looked up a Xenoverse 2 review, and it's either pronounced Remily or Emily, which is hilarious. Um, I'm like Frieza, but twice as racist.
Yeah, that's wild, eh? That's wild because that man is racist. I don't know if you've played Dragon Ball or watched Dragon Ball. He's got a little bit of the racism. I don't know, man. There's something about I guess it's not fantasy. It's more. Well, what did you call it? I've been on record to say I love in a fantasy game where there's just this fantasy racism about like who let the Khajiit in here? Like, I just find it so funny because there's these all sorts of things, and people decide, nah, that's the one I don't like. Nah, you cat people, you furry fucks, get out of here. You orcs, you green bastards, fuck off. Like, everyone hates high elves.
I have a little quick funny story. Caught up with our mate, Hamish, and he was wearing a Hatsume Niku hoodie because I think
Cringe.
he was gonna watch the movie, and then my mate Tommy comes out for a vape break, and then I was just like, "Hey Tommy," and I was like to Hamish, "Spin around," and he's like, "Oh, Hatsume Niku from Fortnite."
Dude, I'm not going to spoil the plot of that film here, but when I was out for a beer with our friend Hamish,
Yeah.
when I was hanging out with him, and you weren't.
Wasn't invited.
Hey, you were.
No,
invited.
I was, but I
You were
had
busy.
things on.
God, no, I was like, I'm an idiot. I forgot. No, he's talking about the movie, the Hatsune Miku movie, and I was like, he's like, can you guess what the plot's about? Because I know nothing about Miku. I was like, and just said what I think the plot was about. He's like, how'd you know? And I'm like, what the fuck? I just completely guessed the plot of the movie. Just pulled it out my ass. I know almost nothing about Miku at all because I don't fucking care. I think that shit's cringe as fuck. But he loves it. And I'm like, that's cringe. He's like, yeah. Doesn't care. Man doesn't give a single fuck. I respect the hell out of it.
That's admirable.
Yeah. Really, really is. Like, I could be shamed out of. I've talked to Stephen about before. When I was in high school, and my mates were like, my boxing mates, what'd you get up to last night? Watched some Grey's Anatomy. They all fucking gave me so much shit. I got bullied out of watching Grey's Anatomy.
Which he projects onto me because for a while, I was watching Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, that's why I shoved you in a locker.
Yeah.
This is a running bit. If someone watches Grey's Anatomy, they get shoved in a locker. It doesn't matter who you are. But yeah, my boxing friends bullied me out of it, and I never watched another episode again. So, Hamish, you think you could bully this man out of being cringe and watching VTubers? There's no way in hell. He's like, yeah, it's cringe. I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
I respect it, bro. You were so unapologetic.
He wasn't like, no, it's actually really compelling.
The story's actually really good. I know that. Yeah, I know that I'm a McSteamy stan, but that's fine. I actually can't remember. I remember the name, but I don't remember who it actually was. Who was Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Who did he play?
Who the fuck is that?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. From The Walking Dead and Invincible and Grey's Anatomy.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
What'd you say he was called?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh, you mean fucking Oh, you already said Walking Dead.
Negan.
I'm pretty sure he played someone that died, and then a character was having something. She wasn't quite right in the coconut, and she kept on seeing like visions of him, and it's real funny because yeah, that's the one. Yeah, she like Katherine Heigl's character like gets married to him or some shit. He dies, and then she's showing signs of the big K, cancer, and she
You know,
starts
like all
having
this reference,
starts
yeah.
having delusions, and she's like, "Oh, he's back! But only I can see him." And they have sex, but it was just her just rubbing one out really loudly.
She had a real obnoxious fucking sesh, mate. Jeez. Settle down, mate. Settle down.
She
But,
She did it so hard she grazed her anatomy.
damn, we got a Pulp Sport reference too. Wild. So many references. All right, well, you know what? That's going to do it for episode 9 of the No Scrubs podcast. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully you had a good time. Do the thing Stephen likes. Leave a like, leave a comment. Check us out on socials. Every time I'm like, look, I'm posting more. I'm not, but check out my personal Twitter where I have actually posted things recently. Believe it or not. Had a rant about EB Games. Here we go. Here's one last thing. Here's one last thing to finish on. EB Games is like, hey, we got new sets of Pokemon cards coming out. Start 4 o'clock. You can pre-order. I'm like, hell yeah, brother. All right, let's go. I'm a fucking nerd. I love 5th gen Pokemon. That's my shit. So I queue up. You know, I'm on there. I refresh. I go to put something on my card. It's like, yeah, nah, you got to be part of our paid subscription if you want to get early access to this. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you fucking mean, you fucking dog cunts? So, sure enough, I went on JB Hi-Fi's website and I was like, cool, let's have a look. Oh, it's $5 cheaper here and I don't need a subscription to pre-order it. Okay, cool. And just got it at the air.
Shooting
Save
themselves in
$5.
the ass.
I know, this whole thing is like, oh, our business is struggling, so what are we going to do to make more money? Let's paywall things. Oh, now we've got less people buying our products. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. So I also pre-ordered Final Fantasy Magic cards from JB because once again, EB did the same thing. I was like, you've missed out on like $160 of business from me because of your dumbass paywall. So, EB Games, do better or you are not going to survive the winter. You are going down the shitter. And then they'll make another brain-dead business move being like, oh, we're not making money, so let's do this. Let's put game pre-orders behind this. And then you'll just get no pre-orders. Oh, why are we not getting pre-orders anymore? Because you're fucking stupid. I wish I pre-ordered my Switch 2 fucking elsewhere now, you dogs. But I didn't.
But you didn't.
Anyway, follow our socials. I don't know. Do something, mate. Fucking
enjoy the car ride home script.
Yeah, and tell Stephen in the comments that he looks handsome today.
Thank you.
Yeah, guess him up a little.
Just me.
Just you. No one else.
No
one else. Not me. But, you know, maybe my friend Hamish would say something about it. All right, everyone. Have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one.
Hey, come up with your own lines.